Okay, good morning class. So today, first before I start our discussion, I will show the objectives of our class so that you would know what to expect in our discussion for today. So we have here our objectives. First, differentiate blood collection tubes according to their color, size, additives, and uses. Second, determine which tube is appropriate to utilize for a certain specimen. And identify what tube is most appropriate for a certain type of test or examination. And lastly, to give the correct order of draw followed in blood collection using multiple tubes, and to discuss the proper handling of a specimen collected in a tube by giving the students a practical clinical simulation. So, di ba last time, tapos na tayo with the phlebotomy, different types of collecting blood specimens such as the venipuncture, capillary puncture, and also the EPS. So now, with our discussion, we will be talking about the different blood collection tubes. So, to introduce our topic, can someone read itong nasa harap?
Wow.
Yes, Mr. Gordito.
So, blood is collected by several methods, including arterial puncture, capillary puncture, and venipuncture. A phlebotomist must be familiar with all the types of equipment in order to select appropriate collection devices for the type and condition of the patient's pain and the type of amount of specimen required for the test. Choosing the appropriate tools and using them correctly helps assure the safe collection of high-quality blood specimens.
So it was stated here that it helps to assure the safe collection of high-quality blood specimens. So bakit nga ba namin kailangan matutunan yung iba't ibang uri ng blood collection tubes? Of course, kasi di ba, na-try na ninyo sa practical sa inyo mag-collect ng bloods. So, hindi naman siya nagtatapos doon. For example, nag-manufacture ka, after collecting the blood, ano nang next? So, what should be the next step for that? And you have to secure that specimen para ma-secure mo na safe yung specimen to make sure na yung result ng test na gagawin mo is accurate and precise. First na i-discuss natin will be the tube additives. So we have here the anticoagulant. I think you are all familiar naman with anticoagulant. So anticoagulant specimens must be mixed immediately after collection to prevent microclot formation. So when we say kasi microclot formation, yun yung mga maliliit na clots na na-form kapag nag-collect ka ng blood and then hindi mo siya agad na-invert. So nangyayari siya of course kapag, for example, itong lavender natin, meron siyang anticoagulant. So after collecting the blood, you have to invert it immediately para maiwasan natin magkaroon ng microclot formation. Next, gentle mixing is essential to prevent hemolysis. Of course, na-invert mo nga siya, pero hindi naman gentle yung pag-invert mo. So, magkakaroon ng hemolysis. So, when we say hemolysis kasi, nagkakaroon ng destruction dun sa red blood cells natin. So, of course, by inverting or mixing the specimen, you have to be gentle. So, substances that prevent blood clotting. So, yung anticoagulant, these are the substances that prevent blood from clotting by either of two methods. First, by chelating or binding or precipitating calcium, so it is unavailable to the coagulation process. Second, by inhibiting the formation of thrombin needed to convert fibrinogen to fibrin in the coagulation process. So, specimen natin for this whole blood or plasma. So, syempre, kapag whole blood siya or plasma, kailangan natin ng anticoagulant kasi without anticoagulant, magkakaroon ng clotting. So, ibang specimen na yung ma-acquire to be serum gano'n. Next. Ethylene diamine tetracetic acid or commonly known as the EDTA. So, yun na, commonly available as powdered, kapag powdered siya, K2-EDTA, kapag liquid naman is K3-EDTA. So, this substance prevents coagulation by binding or chelating calcium, katulad nung kanina. EDTA is the additive in lavender or purple top tubes. Ito, hindi nakita ko kanina. Microcollection containers which with lavender tops, we have here. Pink plastic top. Unfortunately, wala tayong gano'n na nadala ngayon. With a special blood bank, patient ID label, pearl top tubes with Thiotropic gel separator, royal blue top tubes with lavender color coating on the lid. Okay, next, so to provide whole blood specimens for the hematology test, because it preserves cell morphology. When we say cell morphology, ito yung shape, structure ng cell, and inhibits platelet aggregation better than any other anticoagulant. So sinasabi na EDTA tube is the best tube for hematology test. Kasi it prevents nga yung, it preserves rather yung cell morphology. And then 8 to 10 inversions are normally required for proper mixing. So every color ng tubes, merong different number of inversions needed para for proper mixing. And then here, if microplasts are detected in a hematology specimen, it cannot be used for testing and must be recollected. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, that we have to be careful kasi once na nagkaroon na ng microplasts sa specimen, we cannot use that sa test natin kasi hindi ka makakapag-acquire ng test result. CLSR recommends spray dried EDTA for most hematology tests. And excess EDTA, which results when tubes are underfilled, can cause RBCs to shrink and thus change CBC results. Of course, sa pag-collect din ng specimen, kailangan natin isaalang-alang yung ratio. Kasi merong certain ratio ng blood or yung specimen na i-collect mo sa substance or anticoagulant na meron. Kasi yun nga, pag underfilled siya, magkakos siya ng shrinking ng RBCs. Next, we have citrate. Yung tube dito is blue and black. You have here, blue and black. So the citrate prevent coagulation by binding or chelating calcium, just like the EDTA. Most common citrate is sodium citrate, which is used for coagulation test. For blue, we have trisodium citrate. As you can see here, meron siyang nakikitang anticoagulant. We have black for sodium citrate. For the sodium citrate tubes, it has a light blue stoppers. Ito na yung ratio na sinasabi ko kanina. We have a ratio here, 9:1. Sodium citrate is also used in special erythrocyte sedimentation rate or ESR. Tubes with black stoppers having a ratio of 4:1. So we have different ratios here na kailangan natin sundin to make sure that we collected right specimen for our test. Okay. Three to 4 gentle inversions are required for adequate mixing. Coagulation specimens require immediate mixing after collection to prevent activation of the coagulation process and microbat perfusion, which invalidate test results. So, meron kasing certain instances that nakapag-collect na tayo ng blood pero hindi siya agad na-invert. With that, nagkakaroon na ng coagulation. So, nagkakaroon na ng clotting. So, kapag nangyari yun, hindi na natin pwedeng gamitin yung specimen na yun. So, why is it so important na ba na we mix it immediately after collection? Kasi of course, kapag nangyari yun nga, magkakaroon ng clotting, masasayang na yung specimen. Magiging hassle lang to for both the patients and yung magko-collect ng blood. Of course, you have to collect blood again. Madedelay yung test results, tapos kawawa rin yung patient kasi kuhanin mo siya ng blood. The vacuate sodium citrate tubes have arrows that are used to identify correct fill volume. So, parang it serves as a guide para alam mo kung gaano karami yung kailangan mong fill. So, we have here, as you can see, yung black. Ano ba yun? The 9:1 ratio of blood to anticoagulant in light blue sodium citrate tubes is critical. Therefore, it is extremely important to fill them to their stated capacity. So, yung ratio is very important kasi once na hindi masunod yung ratio, for example, 8:1 na yung nangyari. So, magkakaroon siya ng effect dun sa test na gagawin natin. Again, citrate underfilled tubes can cause artificially prolonged clotting times, and visibly underfilled tubes will not be accepted for testing by most laboratories. Coagulation tests are performed on plasma, so specimens must be first be centrifuged to separate the plasma from the cell. So, I think you have tried centrifuge na sa laboratory ninyo, even sa chemistry, I think. So, it is used to separate nga yung mga components ng blood. For example, here, you have to centrifuge it to separate the plasma from the cells. Next, heparin. Heparin can be seen sa green tubes natin. We have here. So, heparin prevents clotting by inhibiting thrombin formation. Thrombin is an enzyme needed to convert fibrinogen into the fibrin necessary for clot formation. So, yung thrombin, it is necessary for clot formation. So, unlike na sa kanina, whole blood yung specimen natin, dito kailangan, so hindi dapat magkaroon ng clot, even microclots. Whereas dito naman, necessary siya for clot formation. Heparinized plasma is often used for some chemistry tests, especially stat tests. Heparinized plasma is often used for some chemistry tests, especially stat tests. So, again, ano na pala ulit ang stat test? When you say stat? Anyone? Yes, Mr. Manalo?
It means that we need the specimen immediately, ma'am.
Very good. Immediate, stat. So heparin tubes or the green tops usually used for chemistry tests. And when we say chemistry test kasi, the usual specimen collected would be serum. So ito, yung heparin, nagkakaroon ng clotting para ma-separate natin yung serum. So heparinized plasma is preferred over serum for potassium test. Three heparin formulations, we have ammonium, lithium, and sodium heparin. The lithium heparin causes the least interference in chemistry testing and is the most widely used anticoagulant for both plasma and whole blood chemistry tests. It is essential to choose the right heparin formulation for the type of test. Lithium heparin must not be used to collect lithium levels. Sodium heparin must not be used to collect sodium specimens or electrolyte panels because sodium is part of the panel. So kanina di ba yung sa previous tops natin, sa lavender 8 to 10 inversions, yung sa black and blue we have 4 to 5, 3 to 4 inversions. Here naman sa heparin, kailangan natin ng 5 to 10 inversions or 8 to 10. Preferably. Next would be oxalate. Oxalate prevents coagulation by precipitating calcium. Potassium oxalate is the most widely used. It is commonly added to tubes containing glucose preservatives to provide plasma for glucose testing. So yung oxalate, usually ginagamit siya for glucose testing sa sugar. Potassium oxalate is the additive in gray top evacuated tubes and micro collection containers with gray tops. So unfortunately, we do not have gray tops here. Just like yung lavender, it requires 8 to 10 inversions for proper mixing. So we have here special use of anticoagulants. Acid citric dextrose. Di ba yung yellow top, ang ginagamit siya for blood culture. So itong tube na to is very sensitive. ACD solution is available in two formulations, solution A and solution B. For immunohematology tests such as DNA testing and human leukocyte antigen or HLA, phenotyping which is used in paternity evaluation and to determine transplant compatibility. The acid citrate prevents coagulation by binding calcium. Dextrose acts as an RBC nutrient and preservative by maintaining RBC viability. So, maintain na yung viability ng RBC natin. ACD tubes have yellow tops and require 8 inversions immediately after collection to prevent clotting. We have here yellow top. Yung, as you can see, yung kanyang substance sa loob, hindi siya water. Citric phosphate dextrose or CPD, it is used in collecting units of blood for transfusion. Citrate prevents clotting by chelating calcium. Phosphate stabilizes pH. So dito sa substance na i-stabilize na yung pH niya. Dextrose provides cells with energy and helps keep them alive. Next, sodium polyanethol sulfonate or SPS. It prevents coagulation by binding calcium. Used for blood culture collection, just like what I said kanina, it's used for culture collection. It also reduces the action of a protein called complement, which destroys bacteria. Anti-glycolytic agent. So it is a substance that prevents glycolysis. When we say glycolysis class, ano nga ulit yun?
Ma'am,
Yes, Miss Lacambra?
glucose is broken down to produce energy.
Yes. So yun, yung sinabi dito na pinaprevent niya yung glycolysis. Kasi dito, nakalagay, it preserves glucose for up to 3 days and also inhibits the growth of bacteria. Diba, unlike sa ibang test kasi, kailangan, for example, kailangan na merong mga certain specimen at saka test na kailangan agad mo siyang matest. Whereas dito, kaya niya mag-preserve ng glucose for up to 3 days. So can anyone read the bullets here for the clot activator? Anyone? Yes? Miss Lyra.
Clot activator. It is used to collect serum specimens. It includes substances such as glass or silica particles and inert clay like cellulite and clotting factors such as thrombin. Silica particles are the clot activators in the serum separator tubes, or the SSTs, and plastic red dot tubes. Silica particles cause the blood to clot within 15 to 30 minutes. Thrombin tubes generally clots within 5 minutes. Requires 5 gentle inversion. Blood in an SST tube will eventually clot without mixing. However, when it is not mixed, glass particles become suspended in the serum and interfere in the testing process.
Okay, so for our clot activator, the usual tube here is the red top. Mercury red top. And it does not contain any substances. Can someone here differentiate yung glass and plastic red top natin?
Ma'am?
Yes, Mr. Norbito?
Ma'am, sa pagkakaalam ko po kasi ang clot activator is meron po siyang yung red top tube ay meron siyang dalawang types, the plastic one and the glass one. Yung glass po kasi hindi na po siya kailangan i-invert since siya po yung factor glass, hindi po ako nagkakamali. And then yung plastic naman po is kailangan po siyang i-invert into 5 inversions para ma-activate po yung clot activator.
Okay, as being explained by Mr. Norbito, so very clear yung explanation niya, right? Yung sa pagkakaiba ng plastic and glass natin. So kapag plastic yung tube natin, we have to invert it 5 times. So that magkaroon ng clotting. So dito sabi na, silica particles cause the blood to clot within 15 to 30 minutes. Whereas yung sa thrombin tubes naman, of course, mas mabilis siya. It generally clots within 5 minutes lang. Next, we have fixotropic gel separator. An inert or non-reacting synthetic substance initially contained in or near the bottom of certain blood collection tubes. Serum gel barrier tubes are called serum separator tubes or SSTs. Heparinized plasma gel barrier tubes are called plasma separator tubes or PSTs. Principle. The density of the gel is between that of the cells and the serum or plasma. When a specimen in a gel tube is centrifuged, the gel undergoes a change in viscosity. So kapag nag-centrifuge tayo ng specimen, yung gel natin nag-change siya ng in terms of viscosity. When we say viscosity, yung ability niya to flow or the thickness and moves to a position between the cells and the serum or plasma, forming a physical barrier between them. This physical separation prevents the cells from continuing to metabolize substances such as glucose in the serum or plasma. So yung separation of this would interfere natin sa for example, kanina yung sa glycolysis. So it is important din na we have to centrifuge our specimens. So we have here the trace elements, 3 tubes. have royal blue stoppers and made of materials that are as free of trace element contamination as possible. So, big sabihin, it is very sensitive, no? Kasi it should be free from contamination. They are used for trace element tests, toxicology studies, and nutrient determinations. Royal blue top tubes contain EDTA, heparin, or no additive to meet various test requirements. So, depende sa specimen that you will have to collect. Okay, lab test using TPS. So we have here the trace elements, 3 tubes, have royal blue stoppers and made of materials that are as free of trace element contamination as possible. So, big sabihin, it is very sensitive, no? Kasi it should be free from contamination. They are used for trace element tests, toxicology studies, and nutrient determinations. Royal blue top tubes contain EDTA, or Royal blue top tubes contain EDTA, heparin, or no additive to meet various test requirements. So, depende sa specimen that you will have to collect. Okay, lab test using TPS. Okay, so after knowing all the different types of tubes with their anticoagulants, next naman, kailangan natin alamin kung which certain section ng laboratory natin gagamitin. What specimens must be collected in that certain type of tube, and what test is appropriate for that tube. So we have lab test using ETS. First would be the clinical chemistry. Right. So we have here test for electrolytes. As you can see, meron tayong mga potassium, magnesium, and different electrolytes. So, tubes na ginagamit dito is red top and blue top. Because our specimen is zero. So, kailangan natin mag-activate ng lahat dito. So, bakit nga ba ginagamit din yung green? Of course, because it is used din sa, green top is used din sa routine chemistry. Next, we have enzymes. We have here the list of different enzymes. Tube use again, red specimen zero. Kasi usually talaga kapag chemistry test, red top and yung specimen is zero. So we have here naman for blood sugar, we have FBS, OGTT, different type of blood sugar test, lipid. Okay, yung sa blood sugar, ginagamit natin is red and gray. As being discussed kanina, di ba, yung gray, pinapreserve din yung glucose for about 3 days. Specimen use against zero. Okay, so note that the FBS and OGTT requires 8 to 10 hours of fasting. Bakit? Of course, if hindi natin sinunod yung fasting, magkakaroon ng alteration sa result natin. So, yung OGTT test, for pregnant. Next, we have for lipid profile. Cholesterol, triglyceride. Again, tube use is red specimen zero. We have to note here that triglyceride also requires fasting. 10 to 14 hours fasting. Again, I remember, what is the difference between fasting and what we call non-per-orem or NPO? Can anyone from the class?
Ma'am,
Yes, again.
fasting, pwede po magtubig.
Yes.
Pero kapag yung non-per-orem, bawal pong may substance na dumaan sa bunganga natin.
Yes, exactly. When we say fasting, we can still have water intake. Whereas kapag non-per-orem, talagang totally walang food and water intake at all. So, liver function profile, we have tube use again is red, specimen zero. For renal function profile, such as blood urea nitrogen test, we have again red and specimen zero. Lastly, for our thyroid function test, we have T3, T4. Again, tube na yung ginagamit natin is red and specimen zero. So, to sum it up, ang ginagamit na tube sa chemistry test, usually red, and for electrolytes, we use also green, and for blood tests, we also use green now. Next, clinical hematology. Hematology. Of course, may idea na kayo kung ano usually yung ginagamit dito as hematology. To course, lavender. We have here different types of blood counting, such as the CBC or the complete blood count, the TBS, and so on. Ang ginagamit dito is of course lavender kasi the specimen needed would be cool blood. Although sa malarial identification, ang preferred talaga doon would be a fresh cool blood. And then, ang stain for malaria, we have GEMSA, stain for reticulocytes, new methylene blue, or brilliant residue. Okay, so sa malaria kasi, preferred yung sa may slide, sa smear kapag malaria. Pero we can still use naman lavender now. Next, we have DSR. You can use lavender, pink, or black. Again, whole blood. We have here the EOFT or erythrocyte osmotic fragility test. We need to use a green tap for whole blood. Coagulation studies, we have the bleeding time and clotting time, and it do not require the use of collection tubes. Specimen needed is whole blood. For PT and APTE, we have two because it requires plasma. For anemia workup, such as iron or IPC, the tube used is red because the specimen is serum. So we cannot use lavender here kasi serum is specimen natin. Next is the clinical serology. Tumor markers, we have here the different types of tests for tumor markers. Tube used is red, is specimen is serum. For the dengue workup, again, yung ginagamit natin is red, specimen serum. As you can see here, if you observe, sa HIV testing natin, hepatitis A, hepatitis B markers, hepatitis C markers, isa lang yung ginagamit natin tube, and that is red. And our specimen, pare-pareho serum. Okay, for the next section in the laboratory, we have the blood bank. For blood bank, we have different tests here, such as the indirect Combs test or blood typing. We have the reverse and forward. So, ginagamit sa indirect, a red serum. And then sa direct typing naman or forward, we use lavender or pink for whole blood. For blood culture, microbiology, just like what I said kanina, di ba yung sa yellow cup, ginagamit siya for blood culture. So, it uses yellow culture model for it needs a specimen na whole blood. Note that the extraction should be done in two sites. Sa two sites siya, for example, sa may kamay at sa may paa. Of course, we also have what we call the order of draw. So, why is it necessary that we should know the order of draw? Kasi for example, sa isang kuhanan ng dugo, madami kang test na gagawin. So, for example, kailangan mo gumamit ng yellow top, lavender, and red top. So, ano nga ba yung kailangan mo unahin dito? Kung yung red ka, or yung yellow, or yung lavender. So, why do we have order of draw? Of course, it is to avoid the cross-contamination. Kasi for example, sa blood culture, sobrang sensitive niya. So, kailangan siya, for example, kailangan niya una kaysa sa paggamit ng isang tap. Kasi nga, to avoid cross-contamination. So, the order of draw refers to the order in which tubes are collected during a multiple tube draw or are filled from a syringe. It is a special sequence of tube collection that reduces the risk of specimen contamination by microorganisms. Just like what I said kanina, it is to reduce the risk of specimen contamination by microorganisms. Additive carryover effects chemistry test occurs when blood in an additive tube touches the needle during manufacture or during transfer from a syringe. So we have here the order of draw. CLSI recommends the following order of draw. First, sterile tube or first blood culture, which is yellow top. Second, blue top coagulation tubes. Third, serum tube with or without blood acting or with or without gel. Fourth, heparin tube with or without gel plasma separator. Fifth, and the tube. Sixth, glycolytic inhibitor tube. So now is the time for application. First, we have to apply what we have learned today. Okay, so since our scenario, yung patient natin here is a 64-year-old man who got into an accident. Okay, so I will start now. Sir, kumusta po kayo? Maaari ko po bang malaman kung meron ba kayong dalang ID?
Meron po.
Okay po. So ngayon po, magpe-perform po ako ng ETS po sa inyo. So, maaari ko po bang malaman kung saan po kayo madalas kinukuhanan ng dugo?
Actually, both po sila po. Pero dito.
So, mag-i-start na ako. Wala po ba? Okay, with regards our discussion kanina, so we have, di ba, the order of draw. And we have list of different tests here that requires different types of tools. So what do you think would be the first one na kailangan natin gamitin?
According po kanina sa lesson natin, and according din dito sa ating scenario, ang uunahin nating tests ay APTT at saka PT. Since gagamitan natin siya ng blue, and sabi natin kanina na mauuna yung blue. And then the next one naman po is yung red na gagamitin natin for sodium test. And then the last one naman po is yung lavender top natin na lalagyan po natin ng specimen for ESR, HH, CBC, and platelet count po.
Yes, sir. I guess naintindihan ko yung lesson natin kanina. Okay. Shall we start?
Like the cool blue light, 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 like the cool blue light.
tubes na kailangan natin gamitin for the order of draw, I have prepared here a scenario for you class, and I would be needing a phlebotomist and a patient. So we have a scenario here, a 64-year-old man got into an accident, and his right leg was severely injured and he was rushed to the hospital. The doctor requests several tests. We have here the list of the tests. We have for sodium, ESR, AP, ET, PT, HH, CBC, and for electron. So anyone here who would like to volunteer, we need 2 students. Okay, Mr. Nardito and Miss Sunshine. You may now proceed here. Okay, Mr. Phlebotomist, what do you think should be the first thing to do when collecting blood samples?
Mom, the first thing is to identify the patient. Identify their name po.
Okay.
So, since yung
Okay,
scenario
yeah.
natin is a 64-year-old man, ang tatawagin ko, i-address ko po siya as sir.
Yes, that's
Sir,
possible.
meron po ba kayong ID para makita ko po yung identity niyo? Thank you. You are Mr. Sunshine Medina. So, ang next po na gagawin ko is to i-clean po yung site na kung saan hindi niya po masyadong ginagamit. Kunwari, ito pong site na to is hindi naman po siya nakuha sa aksidente or hindi niya naman po masyadong ginagamit. Ito ang right side niya. Then, dito po ako kukuha. Then, I'm going to sanitize it po. And then while it's air drying po, ito prepare ko po yung mga gamit na kailangan po. So dito po sa ating scenario, sabi po dito, di ba, meron po dito yung ATTT at saka yung PT. So ang first na tube po natin na gagamitin is itong blue. Ito po yung blue. And then the next one naman po is yung ating red since meron po tayo ditong sodium test. And then the last one naman po is itong ating lavender top. Kasi meron tayo ditong nire-require na test na ESR, CBC, HH, at saka platelet count po. Now, i-prepare ko po yung gamit. So, we have here po yung ating multi-sample needle. And then, i-prepare din po natin itong cotton na after ng manufacture. Yan po. And since ayan, ubos na po yung vacuum niya. And then tatanggalin na po natin and then we're going to invert it for 4 times. And then next naman po na gagamitin natin is itong red. And dito po sa red, according po sa pagkakaalam ko, hindi naman na po to necessary na pupunuin or wala po siyang certain na amount na fill. And then the next one naman po is itong lavender top natin. going to invert it for 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, tatanggalin na po natin ito. So, that's the procedure po.
Okay, very good, Mr. Norlito.
And then, the last thing po na gagawin natin is yung pagle-label ng ating patient. Okay, so ang name niya po, again po, ano pong name niyo? Mr. Sunshine Medina.
Mario Medina.
Mario Medina. And kinolek po natin ito ng January 21, 2023, 3:06 p.m. And ilalagay ko rin po yung initial ko as the medtech.
Okay, class, I guess that's for today. I hope you learned a lot. And next time, there would be a practical, so I will be providing more